The following is a podcast from a qualified senior care provider heard on the Answers for Elders radio show.
And welcome back, everyone, to Answers for Elders Radio Network. And we are here this hour on Mother's Day weekend with the lovely Rebecca Bowman from SASH Services, and that is senior home sales. But Rebecca does so much more than just sell your home. She's actually the greatest ally and advocate for you and your family as you're going through this transition. You know, she's not just a realtor. She's somebody that can help you in every single step. And so, Rebecca, we've talked first in our first segment about possessions, about collections. I'm using the right terms, but I want to go on to what goes next. I mean, what is another issue that we have in this segment too?
Yes. And so we're talking about all the ways that these adult children and their aging parents have wildly different perspectives on something. And we want to help build a bridge today during this show, helping each other understand perspective. So I want to talk about the importance of the pet. And this befuddles many adult children. They are thinking about a monthly budget. They're thinking mom and dad's funds have to stretch as long as possible. The responsibility of feeding or caring for an animal, medication, food, vets, walks, and it can be sometimes quite high. And this is where they get really stuck. Mom could have gone to this community for $3,500 a month, but she's going to spend $2,000 more a month because this community allows her to bring her dog. And the adult child's mind is blown. They're going, why not just get rid of the dog and spend less money? Whereas mom or dad is thinking, this pet is my family. This pet is my closest family.
My life.
It's my life. It brings me joy, comfort, companionship, love. If moving from my home means parting with my dog or cat, and I am never leaving. I will stay here in this home and no one will make me leave. They're thinking, I'm already giving up everything else I love. My neighborhood, my rose bushes, my house, my car, maybe driving, my house plants, my back porch. If I give up my pet, my heart will be broken. I will miss them so much. And so this is something that's so important for adult children to understand. Don't try to win this. Don't try to convince your parent. It means so much to them. Let them have their pet. Don't fight it. Don't make it a disagreement. This is too important to your aging loved one.
Well, and I think too, you know, I'm going to just add one more comment to this to reaffirm what you're saying. As a person ages and their mobility decreases or their ability maybe to hear or see or anything like that, their world gets smaller. And they may not be as active as they used to be, where they might have gone, you know, had social activities that they went out all the time. Well, now their social outlet is a TV set, right? But the only constant in their life that may be is that, you know, that devoted, loyal pet that is there. And that is like, you know, I have a friend of mine that he's early 60s, but one of the things, he just recently got a dog, and was divorced about maybe 6 years ago, 5-6 years ago. And his kids are all now grown up. And he said, when he got his dog, which was about a year ago, he said, you know what? I feel like I don't live alone anymore. That is the power of having somebody. And it also gives you purpose every day. When you look at, you have that pet that you have to get up and feed, you have to take a walk, it gets you out. These are positive things in your life that you can do. And it gets you into a scenario where you have purpose in life. And I think one of the things that I think we as adult children forget is we forget about how, you know, the world gets smaller. Because we're so busy. We're on the, you know, the treadmill, right? We're going. We don't necessarily realize the incredible difference that it is, especially when you can't drive anymore. You can't just go to the store anymore. You can't go shopping. You can't go meet somebody for lunch, or maybe your best friend just passed away, so you don't have anybody. You're the world around you. You're losing friends or loved ones. So that pet is your consistency, and that's the thing I think that's so important.
And so
So
many senior living communities are coming around to this. 15 years ago, it used to be sort of like, well, if you move in here, you can't bring your pet, period, end of story. And it was heartbreaking. Many of them are recognizing the mental
Absolutely.
health, the emotional health that comes with having a pet. So they allow it under a certain weight limit.
Yeah, they even have
And-
little dog parks
Right.
that are on the grounds, which is amazing.
Yeah.
And
So smart.
little off leash area where you can let your dog go out. And I think that's just so wonderful to be able to have that. I've also seen where, I was at a senior living property not too long ago. And, I always thought it was just small dogs that they would let in. There was a lady actually that, because of course I have my therapy dog, right? My doodle. And so she walked downstairs and she had a Labradoodle. And right away I went, oh my goodness, you have a Labradoodle. And she goes, yes. And then she had to meet my doodle where we were on a visit. So the thing that's really amazing is that they're even loosening that up, that you can have a larger dog now, which is incredible. A lot of these seniors do have.
They do have some rules in terms of it can't whine or bark incessantly when you're
Right.
not in your room.
Right.
And so there are certain hoops to jump through, but it is such a big deal. And I wouldn't even bother disagreeing with mom or dad on this. Instead,
No.
just say, all right, let's find a place where you can take your pup with you, and period, end of story, full stop.
Yep.
And if there is no way, because there are some care situations that are 24-hour, that they just cannot accommodate a pet, then I would say allow mom or dad to be part of the rehoming process. Allow them to be part of choosing the new family where their beloved family member, their pet, is going to go, so that they can feel a part of that. They can feel a part of the process of making sure their pet is going to be okay and they didn't just disappear one day. I would also say to the adult children, if the pet can't come with mom or dad, allow grieving, allow space for the grieving and the loss of having to say goodbye to the pet, because that might actually be harder than leaving their home. That might be harder than leaving their home. Allow time to talk about it, allow time to listen, and never, ever, not ever minimize the importance of the pet or dismiss how painful it is not to be able to keep it.
Right.
And so this is all about, affirming mom or dad's feelings through this process. And so we talked in the first segment about household items. Well, you want to affirm that mom or dad have an emotional relationship with a lot of their household items and their collections.
Right.
This is a living thing that they also have an emotional attachment to. And maybe they can't keep the pet, but listen, validate, encourage. And if there's a way that they can keep it, find a way. If it's more money, it's their money. It's their money.
Yep, absolutely. And on top of that, when you think about it, if, I remember when my aunt was dying, she was on her deathbed. She died like 2 days later. And she asked me if I would take her kitty cat. Well, what was I going to say? Of course I said yes.
Sure.
And I cried because I thought, wow, of all the people, the last thing I needed was another cat. But I took the kitty, and sometimes you just do what you have to do, right? And I already had 2 cats, so getting a third one was not in my on my bucket list there, but I'm glad I did it, and it kept her closer to me. So one of the things, if you are entrusted with that loving pet, that is like something that's very special, and if you can take care of it, what a great way to honor that person and to share, to think about them every single time. And I know that's what I did with her kitty. It's like every day when I had her kitty, guess what? He was part of my world, but I always thought of my Aunt Marty. So
whenever I go into a senior's home, Suzanne, sometimes they will lock their dog in a back room thinking that that's what I prefer. And so we're sitting in the living room and I'm hearing this poor little pup whimper and scratch. And I know the pup is saying, I want to be out there too, you know. And I always say, oh no, don't lock them up. No, let them come out. And Suzanne, I have the funniest stories to tell about these sweet little pups that are spoiled rotten, adored. I mean, one of my team members was in a home visit and the dog crawled up on his shoulder and started licking his ear while my team member was talking. And he just went on with the presentation about the home sale option. Well, I learned the dog's name. I appreciate the dog. The dog sits in my lap. In one home visit, it was a pit bull, and the pit bull licked my pants until they were sopping wet the whole home visit. But you know what? I want the dog there. I want the cat in my lap. And sometimes the senior is going to decide if they trust me based on how I'm interacting with their pet, based on if their pet comes and decides it likes me, you know, based on whether the dog feels comfortable sitting in my lap. We cannot overstate this, Suzanne.
No.
The pet is everything, and they will be willing to leave the car, the house, the china, the collections, the photos, but do not take their pets.
Well, I just look at the people fleeing Ukraine. How many of them are fleeing with their pets? You know, they're foregoing everything, but they've got that dog or that cat with them.
Such a good example.
That speaks volumes for the emotional attachment that we have. And, you know, I love you sharing this. So Rebecca, how do we reach you?
We have a great website at sashservices.com, which talks about our history, our values, and our services, and then our 800 number, 888-400-SASH, that's 7274.
Fabulous. And guess what? We've got 4 more tips. We've been talking only 2 this first half of the hour. So everyone, there's a lot of information to come, and Rebecca and I will be right back right after this.
Answers for Elders radio show with Suzanne Newman hopes you found this podcast useful in your journey of navigating senior care. Check out more podcasts like this to help you find qualified senior care experts in areas of financial, legal, health and wellness, and living options. Learn about our radio show, receive promotional discounts, and meet our experts by clicking on the banner to join the Senior Advocate Network at AnswersForEldersRadio.com. Now there is one place to find the Answers for Elders.